play more in the mid-range because basically it's voiced that way. And to get myself away from the word is physical things that control you, what you can't do anything about. The low E, that's the lowest note.
This is Madrid. I think we're close to being done, but I don't think it sounded good on the CD, so we have to redo it. And I don't know if that means redoing parts or what. I think your guitar lead could be better and more consistent, you know what I mean?
Oh, really? Okay.
Or maybe just not consistent, but more of a, I don't know.
Okay.
I think because when we first did it, when we first did this mix, we assumed we might come back and put lyrics on it.
Oh, yes.
But if we're not going to, it's going to be a guitar showcase. So the lead should be a lot more of a part of it, rather than just looping along. Which is it's okay for that at the beginning if we're doing lyrics and then a solo in the middle and then that, you know what I mean? But if it's going to be, it's kind of like the instrumental version of Introduction. You had to come up with a whole thing for the whole song rather than just that great part at the beginning. You had to have something that was going to make that great part mean something all the way through. You know what I'm saying? But there might be something else, I don't know.
We've got this chorus of guitars.
Huh?
We've got the whole chorus going on.
Sounds like maybe there's too much, I don't know, too much brass.
God, that's beautiful.
Huh?
That's beautiful.
That's all in one channel here.
Well, that's kind of the lead is the trumpet.
Huh?
The trumpet's kind of the lead.
Yeah, but it doesn't go all the way through. Yeah, I guess it does.
With all these subliminal guitars behind that lead.
You what?
The idea of all those subliminal guitars behind that major trumpet lead is so cool.
It's weird.
They're all screaming, you know. It reminds me of like that painting there in the Spanish Civil War. Or what's his name painting in the Spanish Revolution of the early 1800s. I do feel this certain personal political feeling of disgust right now, and that somehow the whole peace movement got derailed by the Reagan years and the Bush years, and there's so many young people that don't realize that there was this whole movement of demilitarization that was going on, and they've been brainwashed. We've been brainwashed to think otherwise. Constant being in our country, especially every few minutes, a military commercial. Being brainwashed.
Well, you know, it used to be like you were saying the other day. Until 2009, that's when it changed, where the players were out on the field for the national anthem. Before that, the national anthem was played. Then the players were introduced.
I remember very much so.
When we were kids, went to Wichita State.
One of the big parts of the football game that I always thought that was the pageantry of them coming on the field. Sometimes they had the big paper thing, and they'd all burst through and all come on. It would be after we sang the national anthem.
Yeah, and then they're getting excited for the game.
Well,
now to have it interrupted, have that stopped. You know, it's crazy.
That's kind of bizarre.
Takes everything out of it.
Well, it's also like how many rock concerts do you go to where they have the national anthem and the guys have to stand there and salute?
Well, and you know, they're paid millions of dollars a year. The NFL's paid $1 million per year to have, you know, the military week, where they have the military week, and they all dressed up in the camouflage and everything like that. They pay for that. They pay for the flag being put out there and everything. It's absolute bullshit. It's fucking propaganda. Is what it is.
Problem.
And if Russia did that, we'd be talking about them having like their military. You know, next year, Trump is talking about having his military parade on the 4th of July. Kind of a military parade. Just like Russia's.
I was going to say that some things, a lot of stuff he does is exactly like Mussolini and Hitler.
They're his heroes.
And
he kept a copy of Mein Kampf next to the bed.
Okay, when I was a teenager, Mark, when I went through my I hate everything phase, I hated black people, I hated everything. It wasn't literally until I was a senior in high school and I got taken to that party and I met some real and I saw a fucking tank, I saw a bunch of fucking military weapons, and that these people intended to fucking start a war with America and kill all the blacks, that I realized how fucking crazy that was. And how much I liked black people I knew, and how they were human beings, and we're all human beings. It's a fucking huge breakthrough. Changed me forever. Most people think they're getting indoctrinated. Made me fucking realize how stupid certain things are. No more hate.
You can hate actions.
I can hate.
But hating people is the thing.
You know, I've got a feeling that there's a lot of people that don't even understand justice.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Well, I hate to say this.
You're just saying no hate and I say hate.
I don't want to say that. I would have actually thought it would have been good to have met someone like Michael Boyd to understand what happened.
Exactly.
Why? I understand because I watched the show.
Was this just a robbery? Was that what this was? Was that just because...
Was it a gangster thing?
You were offered a ride home. Why didn't you take the ride home?
But for example, the thing I'm watching that Last Chance High School on Vice. Have you watched that?
Mm-hmm.
I've watched the whole thing now, and it's a school for kids that are like further on than Metro in Wichita. You know, it's the last. It's a place for all these kids that are really fucking need help, and they closed it.
Oh, just like they closed Lake Afton Boys Ranch in Wichita.
And
they closed that. You know?
Last chance for them to get before they get sent off to prison.
Right.
And some of the kids
like Lake Afton and
really
Friendly
bad.
Gables.
Okay, but they closed it recently, 2 years ago.
That's what they did with Lake Afton.
And I remember the kids that were in Roosevelt, especially not in East. A lot of the most disturbed people couldn't go to high school.
They were already filtered.
That's why I said like a third of the kids I went to junior high school with didn't even go to high school.
Yep, kind of like me. I didn't.
But a lot of kids left even
to 1
before
year.
you did. You and Austin both made it through your sophomore years. Well, not Austin ran away once. Then he went into the military.
I made it through as
that's same difference.
I thought they were going to say by the skin of your teeth, but yeah.
And you know, I actually understand how a bunch of people drop out. It's because how mean and tough the kids are. It comes down at one of the things I'm proud of is the fact that I can tough it out.
Yep.
Because those motherfuckers were mean to me fucking up to the last of the fucking... At the very end, a bunch of people were really nice.
Yeah.
And I think it's partially because they were glad they were getting out, and they well, a lot of people grow up at the very end of high school. A lot of people do.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. That process. And they're as amazed that you made it as you are that they did. You know.
And some people actually...
If they picked on you for the last 7 years and they're sitting there saying, well, fuck, you deserve a little bit of credit.
I gotta say, a lot of the people I would have liked if they hadn't been mean. I don't know how to describe that any other way.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I can see good qualities in them.
Well, that's why some people are popular.
Yep. Okay, so if you already have all the guitars on this track, trumpet's not a lead because it's a part of a trio at least. More like 8 different instruments. You right here, there's no trumpet lead. But maybe it does stand on its own like this.
Well, it's a real riff. Like, it was kind of like in that little space there. It was almost like all that background was just the English tribes. And the dictator stopped speaking just so he could stand there and watch them cry. Kind of like those crazy fucking dictators. Franco was like that. Mao was like that. He would love to watch people fucking in agony.
Really cool counterpoint that I put in there. That I deliberately did. So it does take away from that.
So you've got to be careful what we're. You've got a bunch of stuff that you've done. So let's be careful what we're doing. But,
I was going to say, wow, is that on there?
Now, turned on my fuzz, but if you want me, I can turn that off and see what.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just trying to figure out where we're going to be at. You want to go straight in with just your signals, with what you're playing through?
I turned my volume way down on here, just bring it up like that so it's lower. See if I can get a buzz like the 50,000-pound bumblebee. But put it, it's still like a subliminal, you can put it down and just.
There's you without anything else right there. That's straight in.
interesting. Just using distortion that makes you do things differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
exactly.
getting that sound, I wanted to have a heavier, have some heaviness underneath it. I noticed the bass sounded real good, but it needed more heavy. Not too much though. That's why you can use the staccato type. There's a nice pedal there going on.
Well, let's go ahead and get that a shot.
Okay.
You can also, you can wait for a second. Drums on this, I'll say that.
Too excited.
Huh?
Too excited. I'm too excited. I'd actually say we could even dedicate it to what happened in Madrid just recently. Necessarily what's totally inspired by, but as a matter of fact, not at all. But the fact is, how can we? See, there's a thing that also it continues to bother me is how can we bridge this gap between us and people around the world, and people of other colors, and you know, I don't like religion, but I don't not, and I abhor other certain things, but that's because I was born into a certain belief system.
Yeah.
Like the guy I met at Cheers that was from Czechoslovakia. He says, "I hate Jack." They live across the river from where you came from. I hate the Jack. And the girl who worked at the bar, Leanne, she told me, "Look, you don't understand because you're an American." She said, "I lived in Europe for 20 years, and their generational hatreds go back thousands years, some of them, and for whatever reason, and it's not easy to understand American ways of thinking, where we don't." The more recent gangster thing that came up within the last 25, 30 years that didn't prevail here other than the mafia, and which was actually caused by something like illegal liquor. You know, it's drugs that caused the gangs this time. But it's not provincial. It's not. They're not. It's not. Oh, well, I'm Czech.
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, it's always been religion against the straight.
We have constantly done the opposite of what we say, which is if you don't learn from the past, you're going to repeat it, and that's what we've done with alcohol, with religion, the whole bit, and now it's drugs.
Prohibition is, and the thing is with
It doesn't work.
drugs,
It doesn't work. We'll try it again. We just didn't do it right the first time.
it's interesting that people are finally coming to a conclusion about the drug war not working. You know?
Well, I've talked about it for 45 years, at least.
It's hurt more people than it helped. And it actually made probably the drug war is kind of what's responsible for what's going on with the drug abuse right now, with the heroin abuse. Because you remember how none of us, hardly any people I knew, were interested in hard drugs when I was in school. And I'm talking about we went east and we lived in the inner city.
When I got interested in it, 6th grade.
Oh, euphoria.
When Persley and me were walking home from school, and he says, "Hey, come over here. Let's go over here and smoke some grass." I said, "No, I've smoked grass before. No, he says, I don't mean grass. He said, I mean weed." And we just watched that thing on
School, huh?
with with some of the Beatles
Ringo
were in
started.
it, and a bunch of other people with the drugs.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, and
No.
Ringo had on these huge fucking shades, hiding his eyes.
This is when they had the mustaches, and
Mhm.
the 68 or 69.
69.
When he was like a fucking.
Higher than shit. And I could tell. And I thought it looked like fun. And so, first they said, it's marijuana, what they're talking about. He said, yeah, but I said, arms come out of baby's head if you smoke marijuana. He said, that's bullshit. He said, really? He says, yeah, it just makes you feel good. And I said, okay, so we went between the Dugas house and the ghost house, and that little aisle right there,
Yeah, I know.
little alley there. That's where we were hiding, and we were smoking. We smoked 2 bowls, and I remember the first hit, I felt something. I didn't know what it was, and then the second hit, I didn't cough. It wasn't like tobacco or grass or sticks or anything like that. It didn't make me cough, but I felt something. It's like little things were in my eyes, you know. And I thought that little colored bubbles bursting or something. And I thought, that was kind of cool. And then by the time I was done with the 2 bowls, I was high. And when I didn't wake up the next day wanting to kill people or anything like that, nothing had changed, well, except the way I felt about what they've been lying about. That's when I started talking to Mom and Dad about that stuff, subtly at first.
Well, I remember.
I'm not sure they're telling the truth about that.
During one of the films, like in the 7th grade, where they showed these certain drugs, and I'm going like, it was like.
Well, now I know what to look for.
Well, no, I'm going like, well, the doctor's given me some of those. I'm like,
exactly. See,
in my case, it was like I knew right off that I couldn't take speed because I was already taking speed, and it might fucking kill me.
Yeah.
And I was aware that other kids didn't think about things like that at all, or weren't aware, or weren't like going like, I hope I don't run into the wrong plant today.
Yeah. Well,
and knowing that most people aren't like that makes me feel a lot better.
Most people are.
Most people have something that you don't know about, which is
that's
really,
the thing. People don't understand that.
And the one thing that I can only take for granted was that I had a stable family, a real stable. Even though Dad was gone and they argued, they didn't break up. You know, Mom and Dad didn't break up, and Dad didn't storm out of the house. He didn't do that. It was bickering, which is a lot better than storming out of the house, having real. And it's because the relationship was based on something other than stupidity, I think. They really loved each other from the word go, and they actually adored each other.
Well, they saw the qualities that they didn't have in the other person.
And instead of Dad had already been through a marriage that failed, he wanted to he knew how to make it work. He knew it was going to make it work instead. And he would bend where a lot of men don't.
Let's go try this. I'm not going to do that. I won't put the drums on right now. intense. See, now we don't need all those other guitars, I don't think. That might have been just the right thing. Gotta keep that just, and don't do anything else with the bass all the way through. I think it carries all the way through. And then I can add that in, or it's 3 different snare sounds. It's because it's orchestra. Oh, that's gonna start at the beginning. No doubt about that.
I wish I could wish every drummer could roll like that. I remember the good old days. There's probably a drummer within a few blocks of here that plays the roll.
That's not orchestra.
I don't. I kind of shied away from trying to do everything by myself. I don't want musically to do that.
No, I believe if I had a drummer that'd come over and play, I'd be doing that instead.
But I mean, just saying. But even with working with you. When I bought recording machines and sat down by myself, literally, it's like my ideas evaporated. They evaporated. I'm going like, I've always had a head full of ideas, but the minute I turn on the machine, it's like, what was I going to do?
See, that's what's different with me, because I found out when I first got that 4-track, I found out that my biggest problem was that I had this backload of stuff that I wanted to get done.
Exactly.
And then, but the thing is that, okay, I'm going to go out and I set everything up and I push the record button and I go, oh, hold it, I got something else in my mind I want to get out of first.
New idea.
Brand new idea, so I'm working on that. I put that down, and I get a whole bunch of that done, and then I'm going, wow, okay, cool. But God damn, now I don't get to do Dreaming. Now I don't get to do Breaking Hearts, right? You know, I don't get to do any of the other stuff. And so there's new stuff coming up all the time. And there's the guilt that comes from leaving the back stuff, leaving it alone, letting it sit. And it's like, man, you know, It's been 10 years since we played. It's been. Let's see. When did we get the first ones? Right after Dad died, right?
We started working with it a year after in '05.
Okay, so it's been
beginning
12
of
years.
06.
It's been 12 years since we did.
All the things we did there, but whatever.
Yeah, but the big one we never really finished.
Oh, Outer Limits, Daddy. Still love that song. There's songs we played that I still feel like I'm surprised that they didn't get heard. That
Yeah.
song's one of them. The cowboy, the cow song, also a very distinct
Cowboy
song.
song. Well, it's funny because I
Cow
was thinking
song.
about that. I've been thinking about that song a lot lately. I've had it in my dreams and stuff too. It's really weird.
But okay, when I've said odd things that sound fairly egotistical, but a lot of my songs, a lot of my guitar playing is based on things I learned from reading Guitar Player, and okay, that song Culmination is fairly simple, but the thing is there's a whole bunch of techniques that are involved in the guitar playing that make it a very difficult song, even though it's simple to play, because I'm muting strings and I'm letting strings ring, and it was a hard lesson. I'd be almost 40 years old before I could play it. Why? Because it took me that many years to know how to play these 3 strings and how these other 4 ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean.
That one song of a little piece, that one was all about being able to keep a string ringing while I'm finger picking at the same time. So I'm having a triad going at the same time as having something just going and not hitting it. There's a whole bunch of techniques that I've developed, and I feel that I know it's egotistical, but I feel they should be part of the guitar lingo, and I haven't gotten a chance to put them there.
Because
That's egotistical.
because I started out thinking that I was going to have to be on my own the whole time. I played like that with the left hand carrying that bass.
Yep.
And because I always had to deal with that, I've never had a really bass player that was with the kick. I was the one that had to carry that. So it stopped me from doing like I did on because otherwise I used to have to carry this. So I wasn't playing.
It's really funny because
because I've always written for the song, not for the. I haven't written for
went
the
on
piano.
a kick that I would regret a little bit when I was playing with Paul and Steve. I had not yet become that good at playing certain things, and I felt when I met Andy, he gave me a chance to explore things I'd never explored.
Yeah.
And now the regret is that I didn't tell him, "What, are you crazy? Quitting the band?
Yeah.
Fine, go to college. This is my work."
Well,
and I also, and
he
I
could have gone to college at the same time.
well, yeah, but he wanted to be, and I actually understood where he was coming from. But the thing is that the worst part was trying to find another bass player or someone to replace him.
If it's not a passion, which it wasn't for him apparently, it was just your pastime instead of a passion. Which I understand. I completely understand that.
Yes, I do.
You don't want that whole thing is not appealing.
They don't realize that spotlight thing is just ridiculous. It's part of it. Part of it I love is the lifestyle. I really love the lifestyle of working medium-sized clubs and being up until 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I love the part of setting up and tearing down. I love being there, hanging out with people, listening to other people play. The whole aspect of being a musician, I just love it.
Yep.
But I also love music. It's just like, and I can't imagine. I can imagine what other people. I know what other people live like, and it's okay. But that's not what. This is what I really fucking love.
It's a passion. It's not just. It's not just life. It's a passion. It's a religion. Okay, let's go ahead and try this.
Put the drums on.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doubling it maybe with something else too, but I'll do that in a
No,
little bit.
that's. There's a million things we can do here. Still. I like to.
keep a